Hi everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit, and I hope everybody's well. Excuse me. Today I'm doing an interview with Cheryl, who I'll be introducing you to in a minute, and she's agreed to take part in the 5-question interview for people who live with persistent pain. So I'm going to introduce you now, Cheryl. Cheryl, how are you today?
I'm very well, thanks, Pete. Thank you.
Thanks very much for agreeing to take part in the interview. Before we go into the questions, I think it'd be useful for viewers to know a little bit more about you, really. So we've had a little chat before we went on record, but can you tell the viewers where you are, what you do, what sort of pain have you got, and what do you do for a living?
Sure. Well, I live in Loughborough, where I work helping people get out of pain via movement education, mindfulness skills, stress management skills, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's not how I imagined my career to pan out. I started off in teaching. I was a classroom teacher, and I developed chronic pain when I had my son 7 years ago. And before that, I'd had intermittent pain. And we discovered when I fell one day and got all these awful symptoms, and I had an MRI, and it turned out that I had a spondylolisthesis.
Oh.
And at the time, everyone put the pain down to that. So, you know, I went around for ages thinking, oh, it's the spondylolisthesis. And then I got pregnant, and during pregnancy, I fell again. Obviously a bit clumsy, aren't I? But I fell again, and something happened to my nerves, whereby at night I couldn't sleep on my left side, I couldn't sleep on my right side, I was really uncomfortable on my back. So I started to lose sleep and have quite a lot of pain, but I wouldn't say at that point that I had chronic pain. But then I had quite a traumatic birth and ended up with a C-section, and it just took me so long to recover. Yeah. And from that point onwards, I'd developed chronic pain and really just didn't know what to do with myself. It was awful. I thought I'd never go back to work again. I just couldn't see how I was going to stand up in front of classes and carry on with my teaching. Yeah. So it was a pretty awful time. Luckily, I managed to find a way out of it. And so now, a long story short, that's my work now. I help people to ease their own pain and to manage stress and just learn to relax. It's
funny how life's journeys, I call them the handbrake turns, because before I had my back pain, I was going to night school. I had this urge to go and live in Italy. And so obviously to go and live in Italy, you've got to know a little bit of the lingo. Yeah. So I started going to night school and learning Italian, and which I found out I had to learn English first. Because the teacher was
all the verbs and things, yeah.
Gerunds, past participle. What the hell was that? So I had a good mate of mine, Stuart. He was a mate of mine. He helped me out learning a bit of Italian. But it was then, because my plan was to move to Italy, meet some sort of signorina and cook pizzas and stuff like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounded good. And but then back pain sort of turned up unannounced, and here I am talking to you. So it's funny how pain, I've heard this many times with people, they had a sort of bit of a battle plan, but the pain sort of arrives unannounced into their life, and they have to, and they ended up doing, managing it, but also gone into helping others, so. Yeah. So we go straight into the questions.
Of course, yes.
I've got my little list over here. So, question 1 is: what one trigger motivated you to start self-managing your pain?
Well, as I said before, I got pregnant, I'd had this intermittent pain. And I was a school teacher at the time, but I'm a sort of person who's really proactive about stuff. So I was having a bit of pain, I went to a Pilates class, and then I thought, well, this is quite interesting. Maybe I'll train. So I started doing training, and I trained as a Pilates teacher and really got into it. And then I thought, oh, what's yoga? Let me try that, and trained as a yoga teacher. So I've always been really proactive about it. But I guess for me, I probably went, I think there's different ways that people respond to pain. Sometimes it's a kind of fear. Oh my God, I just don't know what to do. I'm scared to move. With me, it was kind of the opposite. It was like, I'll do anything. I do that. Just teach me. I'll do it. But I overdid stuff. I think that was partly my problem. And when I discovered that I had a spondylolisthesis, there was a lot of information around at the time about splinting your back to keep it in place.
Okay.
So I was doing a lot of core exercise, and I was just basically like this. I couldn't move in the centre. And I think that was a cause, I think, of a lot of the pain. So holding yourself rigid like that and then falling.
Yeah. We're a little bit, so you're saying it here, where you just, you haven't got an off switch. It's like us, like we're overachievers, aren't we? Where we want to keep up with everybody else and don't want to stand out from the crowd, so we try and keep up with everyone.
There was a bit of that, yeah, definitely. So, but when it got really bad, I had a little boy to look after. I had a newborn, and I just had to get better. And I remember going to see a chronic pain specialist, and she said something to me that just kind of made my blood run cold. Well, first of all, she said, "You've got a disability," which she diagnosed that I had peripheral neuropathy, and it was never going to get better. I had to live with it. And this is the thing that she said. She said, "And you can, start using a wheelchair." And I just thought, what?
Crazy.
I'm only 39, at the time. I'm not, is this how I'm going to bring up a little one? And I know people do, but I just thought there must be more that can be done, that I can do. Surely the next stage is not a wheelchair. So that motivated me to kind of, really look into what else there was.
How long ago was that?
That was 7 years ago.
God, I'll tell you, what? It's quite recent, really, and I really thought we'd moved on. But anyway, not to worry. Question 2. So, when you see, I don't know, others, and especially as you're doing a little bit of education, is what do you say to others who are looking for a quick fix to manage their pain? They say, well, yeah, come on there, Cheryl, I want you to, just can you click me back into place so I can get on with things? I mean, what do you say to people who are looking for that quick fix to manage, to get rid of that pain or manage it?
When we have conversations on the phone, if I say, I can't fix you, but I can give you some skills and teach you some things that are going to help you to manage yourself. And I make that quite clear on my website, because there is no fix. There just is no quick fix. You can go for a massage and you can feel better. But if you go for a massage where you're already sensitized and somebody's really digging in, then, you're going to feel worse. Having the occasional massage is, I suppose, the nearest to a quick fix that I can think of. But, it's about changing your mindset and making lifestyle changes and knowing what your limits are. Planning, if you've got more on than usual, planning when you're going to do things. When am I going to do my exercise? When am I going to do my relaxation or meditation or whatever? Is there anyone else who I can ask for help? Because sometimes you just do need to ask for help.
Good point, really, and that's it, really. I think a lot of us, and I was like that myself, really. I was a massive doctor shopper and therapy shopper. Back in the day, I spent I think I totaled it up about 8,000 quid on therapists, anybody with an historyology after their name.
It's really common, isn't it?
I think we just get trapped in that thing called a medical model, where you know, the healthcare professionals all trying to fix you, but as you're saying, it's about what we have to learn and what we could do for ourselves.
Yeah. I think what makes it hard as well, Pete, is that, you know, when you've had a problem, a persistent pain problem, you go and see the doctor, and if you are going to get referred for physio or something like that, it can often be something like 6 or 8 weeks. What do you do in that time? And that is when people do the shopping and, you know, look for the quick fixes and the miracle workers and you know, spend all that money because they just don't know how to deal with it themselves in that time. And so there's that time frame where things are getting worse and nobody's helping.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's have a look at question 3. So question 3 is, how can patients, or I like to say people, how can people with pain best prepare when they're attending a healthcare professional appointment? And can you give me a couple of examples? So when you're going to go and see a GP or a pain doctor, pain nurse, or other healthcare professional, how can the person best prepare before coming to see them, or even you? I mean, you do your stuff. How can people prepare?
Well, I think when you go and see a doctor, you're limited to 10 minutes. So you've got to be really clear on what your symptoms are. So it is a good idea to have a diary and to jot down what your symptoms have been and what might have brought that on and things like that, and to, you know, just have bullet points of what you want to say so that you can get your message across clearly, and you know, you can say, oh, hang on a minute, there is one more thing, because when conversations start, you can get to the end and it's someone else's appointment time, and you know, you've forgotten to say 2 or 3 really important things otherwise. So that's what I would say for visiting the doctor. And if you're going to go and see a therapist, a physiotherapist, or get a referral, then your appointment is generally going to be a little longer. So you will have perhaps more time, but the therapist will also want to carry out some assessments. So again, it's a good idea to make a list of your symptoms and things like that, but also any questions you have, because even if they're not able to answer them that day, at least you can hand them over and the therapist has got some kind of idea of what you want to know about, and you know, where education might need providing.
I'll tell you a really good one I learned a few years ago, and I still use it now. It's before, I don't really, well, try and, look, it's not that I'm a GP phobic or anything like that, but I tend to go and see the nurses because they're a little bit more grounded, and you know, they sort of talk in my level, etc. But if I'm going to go and see them, say for example, when I go and see the practice nurse, then I'll drop them a line. I'll perhaps email the practice manager and say, look, I'm coming to see so and so, and these are a couple of things that I'm going to be discussing, like, you know. And people have tried that, and they like, and the feedback that I have from them is that their nurses, their doctors, or whoever they're seeing, they really like it because it's given them a little bit of a heads up, and they can start thinking about your appointment. So it's all about making it simple, because you know, being a healthcare professional, I'm not sure I'd want to be a GP or all these other bods that do it, you know, because it's you know, you've got to be, I think, a bit of a detective. You have, yeah. And you don't have time to be. You know, what can you do in 10 minutes? Yeah, because you're eating into that appointment, trying to ask questions. And I think, you know, when a lot of people I see on the workshops, they're saying, well, they keep asking me every time I go there, they see someone different, and they've got to go over a certain story. Yeah. Sometimes it's about putting your business head on and say, well, do I need to send some information to whoever before I see them, you know? I think the other thing I would say is, because I work privately, I do tend to send people an intake form in advance and give them the option of filling it in and giving it back to me before the appointment. But with the new GDPR rules, I've got to have a look at whether I'm still able to do that. So, but what's yeah, the GDPR role? What's that mean? The data protection. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I do need to check out, you know, how that stands. But people find it useful, and I certainly find it useful to have an idea of what might be going on with that person before they arrive. I know some GPs, they use something called a health needs assessment form. So it's where before they go and see the GP while they're in the waiting room, that they actually fill out, you know, this is how my pain has affected me.
Yeah.
But these are, you know, they tick off all the things that's, you know, the problems they have. And so that the GP, well, there's a massive list there, but then they circle one or two of the things that they want help with that day.
Yeah.
GP.
That's a good idea.
So they can, you know, gives the GP a heads up, you know, that's what they can help them with on that.
Yeah.
So question 4, now we know each other from social media. I think that this video was set up because we spoke on Facebook, I think. So question 4 is, do you think using social media like Twitter, Facebook and all the other ones that are out there, do you think they can be useful to actually promote the pain self-management message to others?
I do, but I think when you're suffering with pain, where do you start to look? Because there are so many groups that are, you know, perhaps don't have good information. And, you know, we're lucky that we do have access to good information and we know where to look. But, you know, how does somebody who doesn't know find access to good information, or what is a good group about back pain? How would they know what is a good group? So it's problematic, really, isn't it, in trying to find the right sort of group.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I'm just looking through the new pain toolkit. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's, I think I put in there. It's about when you're looking for information, make sure that as you say, it's reliable information.
Yeah.
And I think anybody's if you put in pain, I think on a website, like, I don't know, when a search, like Google, Firefox, whatever, Yahoo, is that I know if you put it in pain or chronic pain, persistent pain, you get like over 250,000.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I mean, how do you know where to look?
Yeah. So the ones I tend to use, and I use in the new pain toolkit, is the NHS Choices. That's quite a trusted one. And but stay away from. I'm not saying stay away, but be wary of the ones that .com and stuff like that. The .coms, they're going to be selling, trying to flog you something, you know. But the thing is, always, if you see something, to go and see a healthcare professional and say to them, look, I've seen this in here, doc. What do you think? You know, so you know, it's always about double checking, because I know I've heard loads of stories where people spend fortunes on this, that, and the other. That's been a complete waste of time, and actually, you know, probably giving them more problems. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I just wonder whether, you know, there must be pamphlet. I mean, it's a long time since I had anything to do with pain management on the NHS, but you know, they must have some sort of pamphlet with that information. Did they give out your stuff, the pain toolkit stuff?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of NHS organisations and other companies, they use a pain toolkit as a starting point.
It's a starting point, yeah, absolutely.
If you go on the British Pain Society website, go to resources for patients, there's a list, like a downloadable PDF that actually describes what happens on a pain management program. That can be a useful resource as well. I think it's about, if you're not sure, ask around. I know. Ask. It's like, well, we do that, don't we? We say, if we're looking around for a plumber, you know, just sort of think, hey, you know, can anybody recommend a plumber? You know, and when they come round, you say, well, yeah, but can you give me some evidence? You know, some good newsletters that you got, you know, where you've been working, etc. You know, so we do that with builders and plumbers and whatnot, but we don't seem to do that with healthcare professionals, do we? Do
you have a site, a Facebook group for your pain toolkit?
Yeah. Yeah. There's I've got my own personal one, but there's also a dedicated pain toolkit page. That's you know, I'm always posting stuff on there pretty much on a daily basis. And
is it a community, or is it your page? Can people ask questions?
Yeah. No, yeah. People, I mean, people ask away. A lady this morning asked me about, I mean, she was interested in starting up a patient, you know, thing. But you know what, I've got to the stage though, I'll be honest with you, Cheryl, I haven't got the capacity anymore to start developing new stuff. I'm pretty much overwhelmed with all the stuff that I'm doing now, with like the new online workshops that are going to be kicking off soon. You know, for people with pain, we're starting one on the 15th. I don't know if you want to come into that one. It's all free.
Yeah.
Join yourself. If you're interested, I'll put your name down. You interested?
I am.
Right, 15th of May. I'll send you details in a minute.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And even the healthcare professionals, they're saying, well, what about us? So I'm starting doing one for them. I think that starts on the 17th. But I'm getting all sort of pulled in all sorts of different directions, and I just haven't got the capacity to sort of start support groups. But if anybody wants to start up a support group, be my guest, have a go, like, you know. And I'm sure if you do some searching on the internet, there are guidance notes that you can use for learning how to start up a support group.
Sure. Pete, that was my door. I think my client is early, so I'm 5 minutes early, so I'm going to have to...
Listen, you've been fantastic. Thanks very much for coming along.
Thanks for...
We'll do another one of these as well.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pete. Bye-bye.
Bye.